Welcome to another Rolled in Reacts episode. The owner of this truck didn't think his AC was cool enough, so he installed another one by himself. This guy had borrowed his buddy's garage for the weekend but had some issues with the lift. Customer states, "I think there's something wrong with my tire. Can you check it out?" This customer came in complaining about their car not wanting to start sometimes and wanted it looked at. I wonder what might be the cause. Customer states, suspension was clunky, but fixed it himself. Wants to make sure everything looks alright. And this car hadn't had an oil change in 45,000 miles. This Ford minivan came in because the owner said that they had a thumping and rattling sound when driving at higher speeds, ever since they had a quick fix repair shop do some work on their rear axle. This truck came in for a post-purchase inspection after the owner had paid over $10,000 for it. This customer had their friend fix their brakes for them, but now they don't have any brakes at all. This Peugeot 306 rolled in because the owner said it accelerates as fast as a 96-year-old getting up from a chair, and that it also makes its own pizza dough. This wheel was holding on for dear life after the customer had hit a curb going a bit faster than usual. The owner of this car had hit a hole in the road doing 50 miles an hour. Customer states, car runs rough at idle, please advise. The owner of this Mercedes had it in for some work at another shop, and they had apparently removed the strut bar in a pretty creative way. If it works, I guess. Customer states, I have a hard time getting the car to stop. And this customer had painted their Mazda all by themselves. And this Lotus Elise came in for some engine repairs because it had a pretty loud knock after the customer had done an oil and filter change by themselves. Apparently, they had installed the oil filter with the plastic wrapping still on, which had caused the oil pump to fail and the engine to run out of oil. This car rolled in because the owner complained about a loud whining noise from the back. This customer had a bit of a noise when going over bumps after having fixed their suspension with some zip ties. And the owner of this car had installed some new extra lights, all by themselves, but had to come in because the car wouldn't start anymore. Customer states, just had the exhaust fixed at another shop, but whenever I accelerate, I keep getting this knocking sound. And this car had a little bit of a brake fluid leak. And the owner of this car came in saying, my truck has started sounding like a middle school orchestra. Please advise. And this customer was driving home from work when they heard a loud bang from underneath their car. Customer states, hit a pothole and now car is really bumpy when driving. Customer states, wobbly steering wheel when driving on the highway. This vehicle came in with quite the leak. And this truck came in with some brake issues after the owner had been on a trip to the mountains. This customer had apparently let their cousin balance their wheels for them a few months ago, but now said that they have a slight vibration when driving on the freeway. This car rolled in like this after the owner said his wife had hit a rock while driving on a countryside road. And this differential has definitely seen some better days. And this car has definitely seen some action. This customer had done some work on their brake calipers, but couldn't figure out why their brake pedal now feels like a marshmallow. This car somehow managed to roll in like this after the owner had raced his friend at a stoplight and heard a loud crunk sound and wanted to make sure everything looked alright. I know what's wrong with it. Customer states, car runs rough, has poor acceleration and smells bad. The owner of this car had been towing it behind their RV and had forgotten to disengage the handbrake, and this is what that ended up looking like. This customer had changed their air filter at another shop, but they had accidentally dropped a nut in the airbox that made its way into the engine. This car came in with a pretty decent leak. This Suzuki came in for an oil change, and when the mechanic had it on the lift, he noticed that the customer had welded on some lifting points all by himself. And this customer came in saying, "Car has started sounding like a frisky cat in the spring. Please advise." Turns out that the issue was caused by a transmission that had seen better days. This car came in because it had a clunking sound after the owner had hit a pothole doing 60 miles an hour. This car came in to get a new head gasket, and this is how the old one looked like. This truck came in for an oil and filter change, but when having it on the lift, the mechanics noticed the state of the undercarriage. When told about it, the owner apparently just replied, "Well, that just means I've got plenty of room for secret cookie stashes." Customer states, was driving home from work and suddenly had no brakes. The owner of this car had trouble rolling down the windows after their friend had installed some new speakers for them. The owner of this car said he always does regular maintenance on it and that he does all his own work, but lately he's been hearing a strange noise and wanted it looked at. This car had a bit of a leaking problem. The owner of this car had swapped their own tires, but had to come into the shop to get it fixed. This car was in for an alignment when the mechanic started hearing a meowing sound from underneath the car. The cat was alive and well and ended up finding its way back home. And when your car starts making its own caramel lattes, you know you're in trouble. This customer came in complaining about their Escalade shaking a lot when driving over 50 miles an hour. The owner of this car had a coolant leak fixed at another shop, and this is what the mechanics found once they took a closer look. This car rolled in after the owner said it had started to sound louder than normal lately, and this is what the mechanic found. Customer states, "Small tire leak, please advise." And this car came in with a broken four-wheel drive after the customer had done some off-roading. Customer states, did some engine work at another shop, but ever since, car idles at a higher RPM. Please check and advise. Customer came in saying that their engine feels different after having done some off-roading. Thankfully, they came in right on time to have this looked at. This customer had dropped their exhaust while driving, but had their body screwed back onto the frame using a bracket that they pointed straight at the fuel tank. Great work. The owner of this truck had it in because they get a clunking sound anytime they slam the brakes and couldn't figure out what it was. La la la, la la la. That's probably alright. This car came in because it wouldn't start after it had been sitting outside in the rain with open windows for about a week. And this car had a pretty bad grinding noise when driving after the customer had installed used wheel bearings instead of new ones to save some cash. And this customer came in saying that their car keeps peeing itself. And this customer came in complaining about a wobbly steering wheel after they had some wheel work done at a quick fix repair shop. This almost brand new truck only had 67 miles on it, but had to come in because it already tells knock-knock jokes. And this car had a bit of a road end issue. The owner of this car said that he was out driving in the middle of nowhere when he suddenly lost all steering. Luckily, a local gas station was nearby and the owner did a little quick fix to help the customer get to the closest garage. Looks great. Customer states, I think I hit something on the road. And this car had apparently started to make its very own dark chocolate after the owner hadn't changed the oil in 65,000 miles. Customer states, starting issues. The owner of this car came in complaining about a little bit of vibration. Customer states, clunking sounds when going over bumps after repairs at another shop. This truck came in with starting issues after the customer had tried installing a new sound system using a YouTube tutorial. This car came in with quite the leak. And this customer came in complaining about a rattling sound after having been at another shop. This customer installed a light bar on his Ford Raptor by himself, but had to come in because he now has a starting issue. The mechanic said that the Ford Raptor actually has pre-drawn cables which allow you to easily connect accessories, but the customer must have missed that part. Customer came in saying that their buddy had trimmed their car about a month ago, but now it had started to run real rough during idle and had troubles firing up. I don't think I want to know what that is. Customer states, installed my own car anti-theft system. Very cozy. Customer states, my car keeps going woo! Customer states, rattling noise at idle after I hit an inflatable duck on the highway. Please advise. The owner of this car came in saying that they've started getting a weird sound from it during idle. Turns out that the customer came in right on time because they had a bad timing tensioner that was just about to fail completely. Customer states, my car won't go over 1,200 RPMs. Please advise. The mechanic found that someone had replaced a tube going to the throttle position sensor but had been in a bit of a rush and ended up damaging the connector. Customer states, smells like a butt on a hot stove when accelerating. Please advise. And this guy had gotten stuck in some mud with his car and floored it until he got onto pavement, but then heard a loud clunk. This customer came in saying that their car runs a bit rough. Looks good. Customer states, there's a little bit of noise when driving on the highway. Please check and advise. Customer states, fixed the transmission myself last weekend, but now it sounds a bit noisy. Yum. This G-Class Mercedes came in with some turbo issues. And this Toyota came in mysteriously missing a connecting rod. Customer came in saying they hit a smaller bump in the road and have had a clunking sound ever since. That will be $200, thank you very much. Uh-oh. And this customer came in saying, there's a bit of a draft in the cab, but only when braking. Please advise. Customer states, feels like something's wrong with the suspension. Please advise. Customer came in complaining about poor braking power ever since their younger brother had done some brake work on it 2 months ago. And the owner of this pickup truck said that he couldn't figure out how to open his tailgate and wanted it looked at. Where you're supposed to drain it, where someone wanted to drain it. And this is eventually what happens when you have too little oil in your differential. Yikes. This car came in on a tow truck and the customer said, someone stole my battery, I need a new one. Turned out that the battery was just hiding from the customer and simply needed to be recharged. This mechanic thought he was just doing an oil change, but when he opened the hood, he noticed that the radiator was cracked. Customer states, wife hit a curb going a bit faster than normal. And this car came in after the customer finally decided that it was time for new brakes. And this customer came in complaining about a rattling noise. And you know, some days it's really nice to be a mechanic. You get an easy job, you're making good money, and then some days you just get a little tired. This groundhog apparently wanted to make this customer's car its own. Thankfully, it ended up being fine and was released into a nearby forest right after this was filmed. The owner of this car had installed a new sound system by themselves, but had to come in because they get a bad cough when turning up the volume. Customer states, wobbly steering wheel. The owner of this minivan came in because they had opened the door a bit too roughly. And the owner of this car came in saying, I always liked watching rally and wanted to try it myself the other day, but car has been overheating ever since. Please advise. And this customer came in saying, I think I might have actually gone too fast. Nice. Customer states, wheel wobbles at higher speeds. And this car came in with a bit of a leak after the customer had jacked it up in his very own way to do some brake work. Customer came in saying that a friend of theirs had helped them install some new belts, but that they now have pretty bad squeaky noises coming from the engine and their dash looks like a lit up Christmas tree. This car caught on fire as the customer was pulling in to drop it off at the shop. Apparently, the customer had noticed a burnt smell in the cab before arriving at the shop, and the mechanic suspected it to be caused by a faulty wiring job. This car came in for a seasonal tire swap, and the owner said the lug nuts are in the car, but didn't say where, so the mechanic had to go on a little treasure hunt. Customer states, replaced water pump at a different shop, but ever since, car has started to overheat. Please advise. Nah, she good. And let's just say that the gear oil was pretty sparkly in this one. And this guy wanted some larger rims on his truck, so he installed some spacers by himself, but he had to come in 3 days later because of a wobbly steering wheel. This customer came in saying that they keep having to pump up their tire. And this cat had a little bit more than just one problem. And this quad bike came in because it had troubles firing up, and this is what the air filter looked like. This customer came in saying they need a new center console storage cubby because the one they have won't close. This customer came in complaining about really bad acceleration. This car came in with some electrical problems after a bad rainstorm. The owner of this Honda Pilot came in saying that they have been getting this strange thumping sound whenever they go over speed bumps or pull into their driveway. And this guy came in saying that he slammed on the brakes to avoid hitting a garbage can. Looks like he slammed them pretty hard. This truck came in for an inspection after the customer had some rattling sounds while driving, and this is what the technician found. The owner of this truck came in complaining about their car making a funny sound at higher speeds after their son had borrowed it for a few days to go fishing with his friends. Customer states, my brakes are super squeaky, please advise. And when you're working these really fancy cars, there are certain things that are a big no-no, like... And this car came in with quite the list of problems. The customer ended up having to get a completely new engine and drivetrain. This car came in looking like this, after the customer had let their grandson borrow it for a week while they were gone on vacation. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and until next time.